Well, hello and welcome to Marriage and Family Systems from Moody Bible Distance Learning. This is your fearless leader, Professor Jefferson Williams, and I'm coming to you from the remote location of my office in Pontiac, Illinois. And Bucky has joined us today. You can't see him, but he is a here. Bucky, say hello. There's my dog. That's Bucky. He is a Cocker Spaniel. He doesn't really do any tricks or anything, and basically all he does is eat. But he's a wonderful dog, and we love him. He's about 12 years old. Every once in a while, he'll show up on the screen, or you'll hear him. He sits next to me as I make the videos. So week one is in the books, and week one was a pretty light week. You have the two discussion boards. I've already graded them. I don't do a lot of notes in the first week, so you might get a grade or welcome to the class or a comment on something you wrote. I want to remind you that it is due, your discussion boards are due on Friday at midnight. If they are turned in after that, it is a 0 by Moody policy, so make sure to get them in on time. And you are required to respond to 2 other students during the week, at least 2 other students. So make sure that you do that as well. Everybody, it looked good. It was a good week. So week 2, what's our objective? Our objective is to learn about porn pre and post marriage, the effects of pornography pre and post marriage. I call this the elephant in the pew. I've spent the last 11 years of my life trying to help guys escape the clutches, or the vortex is what I call it, of pornography, and girls. But my main focus is guys. I run a group for that at my church. I am currently hip deep in biophysiology of the brain module for SATP, which is Sexual Addiction Treatment Provider. So by the end of the year, I'll be that. And I have spent a lot of time reading hundreds of books, hundreds of articles, and hours of talking and ministering to people. And I come by this naturally. I come by this honestly. 11 years ago, God rescued me. So part of the 12 steps is turning around and saying, hey, come on, I know the way. So I say that in order to tell you that if you are struggling with this in this area, if you're a guy or a girl, I will tell you, I would like you to email me, text me, or call me. Let's talk about it. It is some of you are too young to remember Barney Fife, but it's a nip it in the bud time. While you're at Moody, if you're struggling in this area, you must nip it in the bud. You cannot take it into marriage. It will be so destructive. I am living proof. You cannot take it into ministry. There will be so much chaos. So I really want to encourage you. Let's talk about it. Let's get you on a road. I've taught this class probably a dozen times, and every single time I've had somebody email me or text me or call me. So feel free and don't be afraid. Feel safe to do that. Okay. So you're going to be doing the discussion board about the effects of porn pre-marriage and post-marriage. And what I want you to do is I want you to use discretion about how much honesty you give about your own journey. We don't want to overshare, and sometimes that happens. So don't be afraid to share, but just use discretion in that. And then you're going to be doing your first paper of the 8 weeks, and that's going to be an integration paper about Romans 12:2. And you're going to be reading McClaney and Bush, and you're going to be reading just part of that book, and that's a great book. It's called Hooked, and I would highly recommend you read the whole book. In fact, in the Global Cafe tonight, I'm going to actually give you 5 of the most impactful books I've read in this area that I use, that I help other guys with, that I talk to other guys about. So if you want to, you don't have to do it, but if that's just something you're interested in, if you want to review or if you want to actually learn more, you can go there. So you're going to be talking about how the brain, take Romans 12:2, renewing the mind, and then what you learn from your reading, and tell me how it is biblically possible and scientifically possible to renew or rewire your brain. And I'm looking forward to that because that's kind of my jam, and that's what I'm learning right now, and that's what I've been studying for a long time about how the brain plays into this. It's absolutely fascinating, particularly in the male brain. And so that's going to be it's 2 pages, double spaced. Please double space. My 49-year-old eyes will thank you for that. And make sure this is your first paper, make sure to proofread, use Grammarly, it's free. Read it out loud, make sure it flows, make sure there's no sentence structure problems, and make sure it's a college level paper. That's very important to me. Okay, so you're supposed to be reading Hollinger as well because you have a paper next week on Hollinger, so and a discussion board. So keep reading on that. So that's week 2. I want to remind you also, and I'm doing this every week, I'll send out an email tomorrow about your research paper. Last Wednesday, I sent out all the topics that you have to make a decision for in week 4. And tomorrow, I'm going to send out the rubric. So you can actually look at the rubric and kind of start thinking about what it looks like. Okay? And so, we are to the question of the week. I will tell you, one of my expectations is that you will watch these videos and that you will answer the question of the week. So the question of the week is this. When you think about marriage, when you think about married people, who are your heroes? Who are your heroes? I have several. I have friends named Milton Michelle. They just celebrated 40 years together. He still calls her Sunny, Sunshine. I have friends that they kind of adopted me as their grandson, and they celebrated 70 years before he passed away at 98. I've been blessed to know multiple people who have lived and loved with each other for 40, 50, 60 years plus. And so I have a lot of heroes in that area. So just one person, one couple, who are your heroes in marriage? So I'm going to put that in the Global Cafe, and we're going to discuss it amongst each other. All right, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, or prayer requests, please let me know. I think we're good. Onward and upwards.